Welcome those of you who are a few minutes early. We're going to be starting at 6:30. Just sit back and relax and we'll be with you and starting at 6:30. Thanks for coming to our 6th through 8th grade live stream back to school night for Vern. Welcome, Vernon 6th through 8th grade families. My name is Ben Kiefer and I'm the principal at Vernon. Thank you so much for coming this evening. We're going to be doing a little virtual open house kickoff, and then hopefully we'll get you into your classrooms to be able to check in with each of your child's core teachers. So we're going to be starting with a message from our school board vice chair, Scott Bailey, who represents Zone 5, which Vernon is a part of. He's got a message for us. And there is the message.
Welcome, Scott. Thanks for coming. Thanks, Ben.
Well, there's technology.
And a big welcome to all the Vernon families out there for back to.
I think what we'll do, so there's some problems with Google right now on the server side, and that was a little video message for us. So I think what we'll end up doing is just sharing that with you all. We'll send out the link. We don't want to subject you to buffering repeatedly over and over again. So Scott was talking a little bit about the bond and talking about all the work that's going to be done due to the bond if it ends up passing. And so it's going to be supporting tech integration. It's going to be supporting continuing to build buildings, repair buildings. There's a huge, like $360 million project to rebuild a Center for Black Excellence for Jefferson, and also some other schools as well. So just we'll give you a full message with that one. We'll share it with the Outpost so that you have that link. Sorry about that. There's some Google server issues going on. So we'll move on with our next piece. We definitely wanted to start by saying thanks to our Vernon staff. The teachers have been working tremendously hard to try and get things set up for your students. And I know that while there are some bumps and wrinkles to starting out a virtual schedule, they've done a huge amount of work to try and make sure that they're supporting your students and being successful as we start the year. We also want to extend that thanks to you for your help and dedication in making this work for your students. We understand that even for our middle schoolers, it takes a team. And as parents, we know that you're doing a lot to make that work for your students. So we thank you for your hard work and effort in helping make that work. The next piece we want to talk about briefly is just the graduate portrait. This is at the center of the work that we do in Portland Public Schools and is a part of the new district visioning process. The idea is that by the time a student's gone kindergarten or pre-kindergarten, all the way through 12th grade, that we've created this in our graduates, that we have students who are optimistic, future-oriented, reflective, empathetic, and empowered, influential and informed global stewards, positive, confident, and connected students who have a strong sense of self, powerful and effective communicators, resilient and adaptable lifelong learners, transformative racial equity leaders, and there is no time like now that we need more of that. Inquisitive, critical thinkers with deep core knowledge, and inclusive and collaborative problem solvers. That's the goal in the work that we're doing with your students, and we're centering ourselves in trying to achieve that graduate profile with all of our Vernon students. This year, for 2021, we're really trying to make sure that we have equity and IB at the center of this work that we do. I believe, I belong, I become is something that we truly believe in. There's 10 learner profile characteristics that we try and instill in our students to try and help achieve that. And we are working as a staff at the notion of getting better at what we're doing with our students. So getting better at getting better. And as a staff, this work is helping us to try and address the achievement gap, specifically for our Black and Brown students, and making sure that we eliminate the predictability of outcomes based on race. We're also working on building our school climate work to help ensure that the best learning environment possible for our students. And your middle school staff collaborates as a team. They also collaborate in content areas. And this work helps to build on and build a community of learners that is strong, empowered, and ready to do what we need them to do in the middle years program. We also want to work on refining our school and family partnerships so that we empower you to help your students feel empowered, and also making sure that we're making connections and providing supports for families as they need them. A really helpful resource that I wanted to share with families, and we've pushed this out a few times and we'll push it out again in the OWL post this week, but is the menu of student and family supports. This is at pps.net/family resources. And you can find information on student meals, childcare, student health access, computer repair and exchange, health advisory panel, which is information on how they're dealing with making decisions around COVID and schools, mental health and safety, so accessing supports for our children, and then also all of the fall 2020 messages can be found here as well. So this is a really helpful piece for you to be able to utilize and find. It's hard to keep up with all the information that gets thrown at folks. So this one page holds a whole lot of information that can be helpful, and we hope you take advantage of it. The next piece I wanted to talk to is just highlight a little bit more around the meals. I just want to make sure that people are aware, because this is actually a new thing that is really exciting, which is the USDA and PPS is partnering to be able to provide school meals for every single student in Portland Public Schools, and also non-school aged children, so ages 1 through 18. So basically there's 3 days that you can come and pick up meals. They provide lunch and breakfast items. On Mondays, you get 2 days worth of food, Wednesdays, 2 days, and Fridays, you get 3 days. So 7 days worth of meals. The pickup areas are all outside, and they ask that people wear a face mask and practice social distancing. Sadly, Vernon's not one of those pickup sites, but Woodlawn, Rigler, and Martin Luther King Jr. are all schools that are relatively close to Vernon and close to where people live who live in the Vernon boundary. And those are all pickup sites. There's also 35 additional sites, and you can use any of those sites. Don't have to show ID. They literally just ask you how many kids you're picking up for. The next piece, and we'll just, I'll also share this. This was going to be a message from Ms. Tatiana Bruce, but since the video is not working very well, we'll just go ahead and I can share the information that she was going to share. Tatiana Bruce is our Sun School site manager. She's fabulous, and we have a Sun School program, and even though we're going to be virtual, there is going to be some virtual programming. So be on the lookout. Tati's going to send out a message that it talks about how you can get registered and what services will be provided. And that's going to be coming out soon. So she'll be sharing, and that's something that a lot of our families are already able to take advantage of, and we hope that people do virtually as well, because it's a great support. Tatiana can also provide families with connection to resources if families are in need. So make sure to reach out and connect with Tati if you're needing anything at all. Virtual Vernon is a huge thing for all of us, and we recognize the monumental task of virtual learning for you as families, for students, and also for our staff. And so we just want to make sure that you understand that as a community that we are all ready to support the learning of all of our students. And we can't do this without you. School is always a partnership between family and school, and it's something that without parents, it just doesn't work as well. In this case, it's even more so, because we definitely need your help and facilitation of making sure that your students are getting what they need and that you all have what you need to help them. So that's something that we really appreciate your connection and your support on, and we understand that it's a big ask, and we just are hopeful that we're going to be able to work together to make this work as well as it can for your students. And from what I've seen so far, there's been some pretty impressive things that are going on, and we do know that we still have work to do, but it's been impressive to see how easily some of the students have adjusted into things, but how much we still need to remind them, even those middle schoolers, about where to be, what to do, and just work through all that. Teachers are there for you around that, but they definitely could use some support. Time management is huge. Middle schoolers are probably one of those ranges of ages where a lot of people think, oh, because they're middle schoolers, they don't need as much help. And here's what I have to say about that. They're awesome. They have tremendous voice. They can do a ton of things, and they still need our support. They still need some help managing their time. They still need some help managing routines and structures and just getting good habits down. So definitely work with them to try and make sure that they've got a schedule, that they've got a routine going on, and that will help kind of keep stress to a minimum for everybody in the family, including parents. So that's something that can be really helpful. We also think that for us and for students alike, reducing distractions is a huge focus that we need to kind of pay attention to, because sometimes with technology, it's so easy to get drawn into those other things that are interesting, whether it be social media or games or different things like that. So just being honest and having that conversation with your child and also with us around if that's becoming an issue, because that's something that we can talk about and continue to talk about along the way, because we want our students to practice habits so that the distractions don't take away from the learning. It doesn't mean that they don't need a break, because they definitely do. We just want to make sure that the breaks are happening when it's break time and not when it's learning time. So one of those things for brain breaks is just have some different ideas. And this is something you could work out a list with your student, or just ask them. I mean, like, what are some things that they can do that would be productive things for them to do for a brain break? For some people, it might be drawing. For other people, it might be getting out and taking a walk. For other people, it may be just, chilling out and reading a book. There's a lot of different things that constitute what a brain break is for our students. It's just a good thing to have that conversation with your student so that you're on the same page around what's okay for you and what kinds of breaks will be something that will be helpful. Positive feedback is huge. Our teachers are working really hard to try and make sure that they're pumping our kids up and telling them when they're doing the right thing, doing a good job, because when you see those behaviors you want to see, giving affirmation and making sure that you reinforce those behaviors a lot of times helps you see more of them. So we want to definitely promise that we're going to be doing that, but also in addition, encourage you to do that as well, which I know parents do all the time anyway, and we definitely see the benefit of doing it. We also want to make sure that we're praising you. So parents, good job. Thank you. We are proud of you for being able to do this and hanging in there with us, because we know it's stressful, and we appreciate your patience, your flexibility, and your willingness to work with us. Speaking of flexibility, so this is one of those things, and tonight's a really good example, because for K2, it worked flawlessly. People went to their meetings and they were able to get into them. And then for 3-5, Google decided to take a nap. And so people were literally not able to get into their Google Meets. And so the issue for that, for us, obviously, is it means that they're not able to have that contact. So flexibility is key. We'll be reaching out to folks to reschedule the meetings that don't work. But what we want you to understand is sometimes that will happen, and it's good to just kind of work through what plan B, C, and D are at home. And it might be like, if tech doesn't work at all right, it's book time. We're going to do a little reading. We're going to take advantage of the library book program so we can get a bag of books to read. We're going to do some drawing. There's a lot of different options, but we just want to make sure that while we'll do our best to make sure we eliminate any of those kinds of issues, they're unavoidable at times. And so just having some plans in your back pocket so that your kids know what to do, and that you know what your student is going to do, so you're comfortable with that, can help relieve stress and anxiety for students. Ms. Harold and I are here, classroom teachers are here, the office staff is here. Call, email, let us know if you need support. We'll definitely give you that, but it's also good to just have a few things to lean on in case you're not sure what's going on. Staying connected during this whole time is huge. And I see this, with our middle schoolers, they're a lot more independent. They're usually able to do a lot more things, and it's really hard to not be able to be with your friends and not have some of those social interactions. We've got two fabulous counselors, Hannah Ellen and Shannon Nicholas, that are here to support our students, that are also here to support you. So if you're needing that, Shannon Nicholas is the one who's working primarily with our middle grade students. And so if your student is feeling like they're lonely, left out, not connected, definitely we want to know about it, and we want to work with you to try and make sure they are staying connected, because it's a huge part of making sure that we're taking care of ourselves and each other during this pandemic. So make sure to reach out and let us know if you're struggling. We definitely will try and hook you up with resources or support as we can. Communication is key. I really have been impressed with how many parents are, reaching out, whether it's through Remind, whether it's through email, whether it's in meetings. Just make sure that you're letting us know if there's something you need. We're going to be relying upon that feedback to help make sure that things are working the way they need to work. And so that we hope that's a two-way line of communication. So definitely, your child's teacher, and specifically for middle grades, your third period teacher is the advisory teacher, which kind of means point of contact. That's the person who you should go to first if you have questions that aren't specific to like a class. So if you're wondering about something or not sure about something, definitely reach out to that third period teacher. They're there for you and they want to make sure that your student's successful. So that's your primary point of contact, but you can also reach out obviously to any of your child's core content teachers, specials teachers, counselors, office staff, whoever you need help from. We're definitely here for you. A little bit about our program configuration, and this is something that we usually try and go over at the beginning of every year to just give people a little bit of a sense of like what our school program is looking like. Vernon right now is 573 students strong in K-8 with 189 of those students in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So we have 2 sections of 6th grade with an average of 28 and 29 students in each. We have 3 sections of 7th grade with an average class size in the low 20s, and 8th grade similar. So nice overall class size. Obviously, the smaller the better, but that's as far as middle school goes, that's definitely a pretty nice class size. And our middle schoolers in our virtual learning have basically one of the specials classes a day, and that's that first period of the day, and then 2 core classes each day. And then it alternates, so it's periods 1, 3, and 5 on Monday, and then Tuesday would be periods 2, 6, and 7. And then it goes back and forth like that throughout the week. We get that that's confusing, and what's amazing is to see over time, it starts to end up working and being more smooth, but it takes a little while. And I wanna make sure and assure you that on campus, it's something that we do with students anyway, but we're normally in the hallways able to point them in the right direction, and now you're the ones helping point them in the right direction. So if you're ever confused or wondering about schedules, please let us know, because we really wanna make sure that you have what you need for your students to be successful. We want to just also reiterate that we're going to be working really hard to provide our students some opportunities. Your middle school students provided us some information on activities and clubs that they were interested in, and so we're going to be starting those soon. There's a variety of clubs that we'll be sharing some more information about, and they had some cool ideas, so we're excited about those, and we'll be kind of getting feedback from students along the way. And if those things are things that need to be tweaked or adjusted, we'll do that. We're also going to be getting into student government, which will be a really neat thing, and really taking advantage of the middle school voice. That's one of the things that we love about having 6th through 8th graders at Vernon. They have an amazing voice, and we want to make sure that we do enough here to let that voice shine through and kind of help us make decisions around things that impact the students. So that'll be something that you'll be hearing more about as we get along the way. We also want to make sure that we're doing what we need to do to help engage and empower our parents and our students. And we also want to make sure that we're just doing what we can to make sure that each and every one of our Vernon students is reaching their full potential. So if there's anything you need, definitely let us know. We're really excited to be working with you all this year. And we hope that now you're going to be able to go and jump into a Google Meet. But I'm just going to put a caveat out there because of the issues that we've been having with Google Meets. If you're unable to, we'll figure something out in terms of rescheduling. But because what we just experienced at the end of the 3-5 is people weren't able to join the links or the meetings because Google was having a server issue. And it's definitely not a Vernon thing. I called the district, and this is happening in a much larger scale. So hopefully you are able to get in, and we'll be jumping into those meetings here in just a minute. If not, don't fret. We'll be reaching out to you to reschedule. It's definitely part of the joys of technology, which is it's awesome when it works, and when it doesn't, it's extremely painful. So hopefully we'll be jumping into classrooms here in a sec. If not, thank you all for coming to watch the live stream. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I hope your children have a wonderful school year, and that we're able to do all we can to help them learn and grow. Have a nice evening.